Good morning. Can you hear me okay? Yes. Great. Thank you all for coming. Nice chilly morning this morning. I want to call this working board meeting to order, if I could. The first thing on the agenda is a Pledge of Allegiance. So if you can, please stand and we'll do a Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. The reason for this meeting, which you've probably read in the agenda, this is a board working meeting to set the board officers and other assignments for 2024 in place. It's a requirement of our CC&Rs that we do this meeting prior to January 10th, so we are perfectly in alignment with our CC&Rs. First thing I want to do is to pass the mic around and let everybody introduce themselves, and then we'll get on with the work of this meeting. So, Larry, do you have a microphone?
Does it work? Yep. Oh, good. I'm Larry Santora. I'm your newest board member, and looks like we have a lot of work to do, so let's get at it.
I'm Denise Lexella, Director.
Sean Kreiderman, Director.
I'm Matt Cambeck. Mark Eckert.
Chuck Hill.
Charlie Shawless, Recording Secretary.
All right. Because it's a working meeting, we will not have a finance report, nor will we have a general manager's report today. It's really about the board and the work of this board for 2024. So the first thing on our agenda is the election of a board president. So if I could, do I have a nomination from anybody for a board president?
I have one.
Yes.
I'd like to nominate Matt Cambeck.
All right, I got a nomination on the floor for Matt Cambeck. Is there any other nominations? Hearing none, is there any comments anybody wants to make? Do you need to do a second? Yes, you do. Mark seconds it. Sorry, Charlie. I'm getting late in the tooth here, I think, for all this. So I got a second from Mark. Sorry. Is there any comments? Okay, all in favor of Matt Cambeck being the president of the HOA2 board in 2024, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Matt, congratulations.
Bravo, bravo, bravo.
The happiest man in Saddlebrook is sitting right next to me. Before we move on, I just want to take a minute to thank Dan for his leadership over the past year. And to thank the rest of the 2023 board, Campbell sitting in the back of the room. It was a great year. Board was very busy, but Dan, he had a very steady hand at the helm. And all of us, on behalf of everybody sitting here, Thank you. Okay, I need a nomination for Vice President. Can I have a nomination, please?
I nominate Dan Liniger as Vice President.
I have a nomination for Dan Liniger for Vice President. Do I have other nominations? Can I have a second?
I'll second it.
Sean seconds it. Any discussion about Dan being our Vice President? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Not the motion, but yeah.
Nominate.
Okay, one down. I now need a nomination for our treasurer.
I nominate Mark Eckert.
Mark Eckert is nominated. Do I have another nomination for treasurer? Do I have a second for Mark Eckert?
I'll second it.
Denise seconds it. Any discussion about Mark Eckert being our treasurer? I'll take the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mark, congratulations. Condolences. Well, the happiest man in Saddlebrook is still sitting right next to me. He is not the treasurer. I'm going to take nominations for secretary. I need a nomination for secretary, please.
I'll nominate Sean Kreiderman.
I have a nomination for Sean. Do I have any other nominations? Can I have a second, please?
I'll second Sean.
It's Mark. Any discussion about Sean being our secretary?
Well, I don't have to take minutes at the meeting. I'm good.
We have other things in store for you.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
And it's unanimous. Sean, congratulations.
Thank you.
At this point in time, we're going to appoint our assistant treasurer. And for those of you that don't know Larry Santora, he is a CPA, has a financial background, and has agreed to come on board and be the assistant treasurer to assist Mark and the board in its duties going forward. So, thank you, Larry. So, for my mates on the board, because Dan and I can't help ourselves, trying to figure out what it is that you needed to approve today, we decided we were going to make it easy for you. You all have your board manuals. We're going to work our way through pages 1 through 6. In the future, we're going to call that our BOP, the Board Operating Plan. And this came up over breakfast this morning as we were trying to figure out how we transition from this board to the new board next year and all of our requirements to do precisely what we're doing today. And so what we came up with was the Board Operating Plan, which is the first 6 pages of this document. I'm sorry, Charlie, your job is to keep me on track with that up there so everybody can play along with me. Okay? So for all of you out there, you don't have the board manual, and this is something new. This is an outcome of our work with the McMahon Group this year and the strategic plan presentation that we'll be delivering to the community this afternoon. Part of that effort to enhance the governance of our community and to create organizational alignment and to have stability of operations from year to year, we're creating something called a board manual. What this does is outline the first 6 pages, outline precisely what we're going to go through today, which is what the board is going to execute throughout this year. The rest of the document is the board's guidance to Walter and his staff, the Troon staff, and all of our advisory committees. So for the first time, the board will be providing guidance and expectations to all those elements of our governance apparatus. So stay tuned. This is all new stuff. So for us today, we're going to go through those first 6 pages, and when we're done, we're going to take one vote. So we're going to discuss each part of it as we go through it. If you have questions, comments, I won't say snide remarks because we don't need those. But we'll work our way through the 6 pages, and then we'll know we'll have our plan for the year. Good enough? Good.
Excuse me, Matt. When you turn your head, could you have the microphone follow?
I'll mess that up all day, and I apologize. Sean tries to hang something on me, so I don't do that. I'll try to do better.
We'll be lavaliered from now on.
So, in this afternoon's presentation, when you get the strategic plan, you will get the mission, vision statement, and the values that we have produced, the Strategic Planning Committee has produced as a part of the strategic plan. And so I'll save all that for this afternoon. So the first thing on page 3 are the strategic plan goal champions. We have 9 strategic goals in our strategic plan. We have established a champion for each of those goals. And they're identified here. I have goals 1 and 2. Mark has financial, which is strategic governance and empowered management and master plan facilities. For those of you who don't know, one of the things that we're going to accomplish this year is producing a facilities master plan for our community. It's right up there.
Oh, okay, we're not on the next page. Never mind.
We're on page 3, Mark.
Page 3.
Yeah, the top of page 3. Okay. That's page 2. Okay.
Okay, we're fine.
All you gotta do is be able to count to be a good board member.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm an engineer. Calculus.
Okay, Mark owns financial stewardship, commitment to our team. That's about the people we hired that work here as Walter. Favorite place dining, that's our restaurant operations. Favorite place dining. Let that sink in for a second. Wouldn't it be great if we could create an environment where our restaurants were our favorite place to go? Boy, that's not the reaction I was looking for. Chuck owns that goal. Effective communications. One of the things you told us in our strategic plan survey was the board has to do a better job of communicating. Can't wait till I figure out what that means. Try to find every way we can to push information out. But Sean is going to help us do better. The green space and golf experience really is broken into 2 pieces. We put that together in one goal because of the interface between our common areas and our golf courses. The common area piece, the green space piece, belongs to Denise, and the golf experience piece belongs to Dan Liniger. Exceptional member experience. The exceptional member experience goal belongs to Larry. And sustainable membership. How do we keep our community competitive, and how do we keep it attractive for future home buyers over the next 10 years? And Ray Kuhn. And so those of you that don't know, the Strategic Planning Committee consisted of the 7 board members, Walter, our general manager, and Ray, our assistant general manager. They were joined at the hip with us throughout this entire process, because who executes everything that we tell them to execute? The general manager and the assistant general manager. So that's why we brought them in to the strategic planning process. Questions? Okay, let's move on. So one of our edicts that was provided to us by the McMahon Group is that every month when we go to a board meeting, and we have a board meeting scheduled, and we'll talk about that here in a minute, for every month except July. We do take the month of July off like you do. And so we'll have a board meeting every month, and in that board meeting there will be a small strategic plan update communicated back to you. Some piece of the strategic plan will be briefed every month. That's how we're going to keep it in front of you. That's how we're going to keep ourselves accountable to you for actually putting action behind these words. And so we put together a plan. When you come to the meeting this afternoon, and I'm assuming you're all going to do that because you're all here this morning, is that you're going to find out, you're going to actually get a copy of the strategic plan. Charlie's produced those, and they'll be waiting for you at the theater, and you get to pick up your own copy. And so you can read along with us as we present it this afternoon. And so the first 3 goals, the strategic governance and empowered management, the master plan facilities, and financial stewardship. Those are the 3 board goals that we are going to focus the most energy on, because that's what you told us in the survey where your concerns were for our community. And so all this schedule does is let you know that we have a discipline plan for providing that information to you. Questions? Yes, we're going to put the entire, this presentation will go on the website, but the board manual itself, when it's final and it's approved, and we execute it on 23 January, will also be posted on the website. Good question. Any other questions? Let's move to page, last thing on page 3. Our new homeowner reception plan. Sean is our lead board member for welcoming new homeowners into the community. And this year we have a plan to execute 3 sessions for new homeowners. First one's on January 25th of this month. We'll do another one in April and another one in September. Would you like to say anything?
No, just that if you are a new homeowner from, I believe it's July on, because we didn't do one, we want you to come. And the invitation has been sent out. We need lots of people to be here because everybody, all the committees and all the, or select committees, I say, but all the staff will be here to meet, so people who are new to the community can meet them. RSVP to Charlie if you are a new homeowner and you'd like to come to the new homeowner. But please encourage, if you know somebody's moved in near you, go to them and say, have you gone and done all your processing at the admin office? Or have you been invited to the new homeowner reception? Because we would like them to come.
I don't know what we do.
Well, they come in, and if you're a new homeowner, you get a free liquid adult beverage. And then we just start through, and Dale talks as the patrol, and Walter welcomes everybody, and we just answer any question they have. And it's very, very informative, because we who have lived here, myself 15 years, I forget what was brand new and exciting to me when I first moved in, and so we want to answer their questions. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
Can't imagine what would happen if you just said yes.
I said no. Okay, next.
Yeah, okay, we'll move right along. That was code for go to page 4. Okay, so I already told you we're going to have a board meeting every month except July. It'll be at the same time, the same place every month like it was this year. We'll stay in the theater 10 to 12, and we do it the last Wednesday of each month, the exception months being November and December for obvious reasons, the holidays. The committee chair meetings will be done, as always, from 8 to 9:30 in the A-Gate room. All the committee chairs meet with the board members, and we do a catch-up exercise on a monthly basis. Questions about our schedule? So board appeals teams. We have appeals for various things in the community. Some come through the ALC. Some come through rules and regulations. And code of conduct is just people who violate our code of conduct policy. So we have 4 teams. I'll walk you through what those 4 teams are so you know who's assigned to those teams, and the fact that we know that that's business we will take care of. The code of conduct appeals, I run those meetings along with Dan, Chuck, and Denise. Rules and regulations appeals for all those people that drive too fast in our community or other violations of our rules and regs. Mark Eckert runs those appeals meetings along with myself, Sean, and Denise. Delinquency appeals. We have folks sometimes that don't get their dues payments in on time, and there's various reasons for that, and from time to time they appeal the fines that come with being delinquent. And so we have to hear all those sad stories. And so Sean runs those meetings along with Mark, Larry, and Chuck. In the ALC appeals, I want to make this observation to you. One of the things I'm very proud of our community as I drive around it, to do my management by walking around trips is how wonderful we keep our properties. And if you've lived in communities like I have where that's not always the case, where properties, there's always that bad property in a street or two, doesn't happen here. And we owe a deep debt of gratitude to those men and women that work on our ALC. They keep everything lined up, get the permitting work done, but basically keep our community looking as well today as it did when it started 25 or 30 years ago.
In case everybody out there doesn't know, ALC is Architectural Landscape Committee, and they're the ones that keep everything as Beth suggested. And in case there's some new people either listening or here, the couple committees are able to fine homeowners if they don't keep things the way they should, either driving too fast or their landscaping not done properly or violate some rule. They have the ability to go back to that committee that fined them originally and discuss it with them and try to get it reversed. But if they don't, then they have the option to come to the board.
Thanks, Chuck. Clarifications are always welcome. Anyway, Dan runs those ALC appeals along with Mark and Larry and Denise, and I didn't run through those with you. So there's the delinquency appeals, rules and regulations appeals, code of conduct appeals for all those watching at home. We're on page 5 already. Okay, one of the other responsibilities we as a board have is, did I go the wrong way?
I think so. Yeah, you're supposed to be for the record article. There you go.
I got too many jobs, I can see that.
Yeah, I was going to say.
All right, for the record articles. We write an article every month. A board member writes an article about a timely topic or maybe a recap of things that are ongoing. Dan wrote January's. I've just finished drafting up February's. And so we have a game plan. And so everybody on the board knows exactly when it's their turn in the barrel, what the suspense date is to get our articles to Charlie, who gets them into the marketing department and gets them into the FDR. So there's our schedule. There's who's going to be bringing the board thoughts to you on a monthly basis. The last thing on page 5 is our monthly management meeting attendees. This was high adventure for a board member by the name of Cambick last year. We didn't have a board manual. And so I was the only guy on the board, the only person on the board that screwed this up. And somehow I missed Mark's guidance to me in July when it was my turn in December. Imagine that. And so every month, 3 members of the board sit down with Walter and Ray and other members of the staff as needed to discuss the current status of various topics in the community. And then those 3 people take that information and put it into a report, and we submit it to the rest of the board members. And so this is how we keep continuity of effort between the board and the staff as far as what it is that we're doing for the community and how well we're executing the plans that we have in place. So 3 a month, and somebody's got to be in charge of setting up those meetings and gathering all the questions that the board wants answered in those meetings. And so this is the plan to do that. The people that are in bold, like Mark in January, he owns the meeting. And so I and Chuck will attend with him, but Mark will organize it. And if your name is highlighted, you're the in-charge person that month. We all got that, right? We won't have to go look for a 6-month-old email like I did.
And since Matt got this wrong, we decided to make him president.
Punishment. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Missing during that meeting, so that's why that happened.
And as you notice, we do have our monthly management meeting in July. We still go on and meet with Walter and Ray to find out what's going on. We do not skip July.
And for those slow-witted board members like Cambic,
The administrator.
all the protocols are outlined. Okay, the last piece of business we've got to discuss for this board manual are the committee liaison assignments for 2024. So I'll walk through this. The ALC, our primary liaison is Sean Kreiderman. Our alternate liaison is Chuck Kill. For rules and regulations, Chuck is the primary and Larry is the alternate. The primary liaison attends all the meetings. The alternate liaison's responsibility is to stay abreast of what's going on with that committee and to have the back of the primary if they can't attend, for example, if they're out of town on vacation. The Finance Committee, our treasurer, Mark Eckert, will be the primary liaison. Larry Santora will be the alternate. I've never attended a Finance Committee that Chuck Kill wasn't also in attendance at. So 2 CPAs will be covering down. Fitness, Wellness, and Recreation, Larry Santor will be our primary liaison. Sean Kreiderman will be the alternate. The Golf Committee and the Troon liaison will be Dan Liniger, and I will be his alternate. Common Area Maintenance, a new committee that just stood up here last week. Denise Lexell is taking the primary liaison role there, and I will be her alternate. The Election Committee, I am the primary liaison, and Dan is the alternate. Employee Appreciation Committee, I am the primary liaison, Dan is the alternate. Our Unit Reps Council, they probably won't stay at council much longer. Denise Lexell is the primary liaison, and Sean Kreiderman is the alternate. And the Saddlebrook Public Affairs Commission, Chuck is the primary liaison. And on board communications, that's keeping track of all of our engagement with our residents. So when you send us a question and ask for an answer, and we provide that, Sean catalogs that all and creates a monthly log for all of us so we know what questions have come in and how we responded to them. And she ensures that we get our responses in a timely fashion.
It's done. You'll get it today.
Yeah.
And all commissions are always looking for volunteers who have experience in those areas. Every one of these are looking for them, especially right now, we really need them for the Public Affairs Commission, which is kind of a fun commission to be on.
Okay. So we've reached the point in this proceedings where I can ask for a motion to approve the board operating plan for 2024.
Before you do that, since this is a working meeting, I got a problem. I'm wondering if anybody can help me on the monthly management meeting in July, because I do not plan to be here in July. So has anybody got can
What
say?
page on, Dan?
5.
Page 5, monthly management meeting. Myself, Denise, and Mark are on the,
I'll take it.
Yeah, we can do it in June.
okay. So we'll put Matt will be in for a placeholder, but I will not be here. So anyway, if we vote on this, then put Matt as a replacement for me in July.
Yeah, this particular schedule thing can always vary because, you know, some of us are not sure what vacations we're going to take. So all of a sudden you may find that you're obligated for a vacation that you've committed to that is a conflict. So this is going to be kind of a fluid thing throughout the year. So.
And Matt, one clarification that Mark's been trying to instill on us for 2 years now. All the officers that we just elected are officers of the HOA, not officers of the board. They're HOA officers. So just to clarify that.
That and 50 cents ain't going to change the fact that I'm going to tell you I'm the board president and he's the board vice president, much to Mark's chagrin, because that's how you know us. You have a question?
I do. If one of your main goals is favorite place for dining, which I think is a great goal, and it was on your first page, if your committee sort of match up and everything's sort of going, would there not be a committee for a dining? Would that not be true?
Yeah, that's not a topic for this meeting, but I know where you're coming from. All right, I know what your passion is, and that's a great comment to bring up this afternoon. If you're not going to be there, that's okay. We got a board meeting on the 31st, you know, but I understand that you would like to see a food and beverage committee. We haven't deliberated on that subject, so it is not in our current plan.
Another question, Matt?
Can you explain what Troon is?
Sure. Be happy to.
Troon is a company headquartered in Scottsdale, Arizona. We hired Troon. They came to us July 1 of this year through a contract that we had with Club Corps, July 1 of 2022, to manage our golf courses. Troon manages roughly 850 golf courses around the world. So they manage our golf courses. They have the employees. The employees that you see on our golf courses are Troon employees. The pro, Matt Hudson, the golf course superintendent, Paul Halleck, are Troon employees. So they manage our golf enterprise, if you will. Maintenance, pro shop, you know, selling out, revenue on the front end. So we have hired them to manage our golf enterprise because of their expertise. And that happened in 2022. So we're in the second year of that contract, if you will. So that's who they are. Big name. Look them up. They're very well respected in the golf community. Good question.
And Mark, no plan survives contact with the enemy. Okay? Something's going to mess this whole thing up. It's a start point for us. So, anything else you'd like to address?
Sorry, I'm set for July.
Anything else you're going to be AWOL about?
That's my only worry.
Okay. Now can I have a motion to approve our board operating plan?
I move that we approve the 2024 Board Operating Plan.
Well stated. Can I have a second?
I second.
Thank you, Mark. Discussion?
Through page 6.
Through page 6, pages 1 through 6. Discussion?
No.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous, Charlie. So we have a plan for 2024. Okay, somebody's going to present a motion regarding the chair of the Finance Committee.
Yep, I would like to make a motion that we appoint Campbell Cheney as the chair of the Finance Committee for this year.
I second.
Okay, I have a motion to approve Campbell Cheney as the chair of the Finance Committee. I have a second. Conversation? Any questions? All in favor? Oh, wait a second. I'm sorry. Do any of you residents have any comments about Campbell Cheney serving as the chairman of our Finance Committee in 2024? Thank you. I appreciate, I'm sorry, I didn't set up microphones for conversations for.
Yeah, we skipped that.
Okay. Hearing no other than the applause, can I now take a vote? All right, all in favor of Campbell serving as the chairman of our Finance Committee?
Yay.
Aye. Okay, it's unanimous. Campbell,
Yay,
congratulations.
Campbell.
Denise, Are you going to make a motion about the CAM committee members?
Sure. Well, we're doing a UWC on that.
Okay. Do we want to tell everybody?
I'll go ahead and get started with it. So we, a few weeks ago, created the CAM committee, which is tied to the green space. And we've never really had that here in this community, which is direly needed. Eileen Depka is the chair on that. That was already approved before a couple weeks ago. So now we have a group that has volunteered to be on that committee. And we will be approving that so they can proceed.
I did not print out the names. So if we're going to do this, yeah, Denise, do you have the names?
I don't. It's on the UWC in the office.
So we'll just leave it. I want you to talk about what you said for me at breakfast if you want the community to know.
Okay, so are we going to vote on this now, or are we going to push this to Jan 31, or do a UWC?
You got the UWC completed. What I want you to know is that we have moved forward with the CAM committee. They had their first meeting on the 5th. And Denise is our liaison. That committee is now engaged. What I've asked Dan to communicate to you as the past president was our experience this past summer with common area maintenance and the extraordinary lengths that we went through to get to where we are today, and how that concluded with what happened on the 5th of January.
Okay, I'm straight now. Okay, we're going to do UWC. We have, I believe, 5 members that have volunteered to be on the committee. The committee has a maximum number in their charter of 9, so they're still looking for people to be on that CAM, Common Area Maintenance Committee. I'm excited about the 5 that have volunteered. All of them have worked on the Common Area Task Force in the past. They came together, with the exception of Doug Springer. He's new, but the rest of the 4 others are all Common Area Task Force members. They worked very hard this summer to put together a lot of work and research associated to the questions that homeowners brought forward. In the middle of summer, we initiated Common Area Level 5 work probably in May, I think, roughly timeline. Got a lot of pushback from a lot of homeowners about what are you doing, why are you doing it, are you following the rules. A lot of homeowners with lots of interest, lots of concern, lots of voiced concern, seemingly from knowledge base, and they were questioning why, excuse me, the CAM work was forwarding on without homeowner input. We paused that work in June, middle of June, and it paused for about 3 months while the Common Area Task Force reconvened. We ended up with a town hall. They did an outstanding job of presenting to the homeowners facts that were associated to what that plan and what that execution of that plan would entail. Got a lot of feedback, a lot of very positive feedback as well. So we're now moving forward. We're in execution mode. 2023 was that year to get involved in execution of our common area, specifically the level 5 area. The reason I tell you all this stuff, and I guess I did have a bit of disappointment, not in the fact that people volunteered to be on CAM. That's very important, and we thank them very much for that work. But with all of the conversation we went through in the summer months from people and feedback and how come and on and on and on, I would have expected a tremendous voice to come from our residents to want to be on that group. And here we are with 5 people, 4 of which came from the task force. So we still have room. It's a call for more volunteers. Just like Chuck said, all of our committees can use volunteers. We need community involvement. We really do. But I will tell you, I'm very disappointed that with all of that conversation, we now have ended up basically with that task force, plus Doug Springer volunteered as well. But we have room for more. There's 4 more chairs. So please, if you're interested, get a hold of Eileen and tell her about your interest, and she'll be actually interested in having you show up at a few meetings and really get a grasp of what they're doing. So anyway, that's a long conversation. Just wanted to kind of make that point. So thank you very much for the mic.
Yeah, I heard that over breakfast. I thought you needed to hear it because it's an important thing. I wish I could convey to everybody. I don't have the words, really. People get excited about things. And they take you to task over things, and they tell you all the things you're doing to ruin the community and ruin property values, and you're working your butt off to do exactly the opposite. But when you're looking for help, so you can do the right things, look at us. We're 7 residents just like you. I could take 7 of you, let's set you up here. We're no different than anybody sitting in this audience. And we're asked to put our heads around an awful lot. And I am an advocate of self-management, and I'm an advocate that our advisory committees are a tremendous help to our board, and that we have to have people that are willing to give us advice. Yes, Ann, I believe that we have to have residents who are willing to help us. We can't do it by ourselves. Got good friends that are former board members who told me what this was going to be like. They lied to me. It's way worse than you could ever tell somebody it's going to be. But then on the other side, it's very invigorating to make progress and to be able to come to you and tell you the truth about what's really going on and do this good work related to having quality planning. And I'm proud of my fellow board mates. I want to give you this observation. My good friend Dan sent me the minutes from the 2022 board meeting. It's 2 years ago. The 2020 board left their working meeting. They had 4 scheduled meetings for the year. This board will do 5 major engagements with you all, our residents, 5 times in January. 5 times in January. That's how hard this board's being pushed. So I say that to you because we need all the help we can find, because we're trying real hard. We're trying real hard to get the community to move in the right way. So I'm excited. We're off to a fast start here today. Obviously, you can tell, board working meetings made this meeting possible. We've been working hard in December to set the conditions to come in here today and be as efficient as we have been. So I thank everybody that's serving on this board. Thank you for your efforts. And the next thing that we have to do is approve the minutes from our November regular meeting. I need a motion, please.
So moved.
I need a second.
I'll second it.
Discussion? Discussion from our residents. All in favor of approving the minutes for the November 15th meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Charlie, it's unanimous. The meetings for the 15 November meeting are approved. Next on my agenda, I want to tell you about 3 of the next. This afternoon is engagement 2 for the month of January. This is where we're going to trot out the strategic plan. And when we did the survey, one of the things the community told us was we need to do a better job of planning. We took that advice. We've completed that work. And again, I'm very proud of the team that did that. That happens this afternoon, 1 o'clock in the theater. The Reserve Fund Town Hall is going to be conducted on Monday, 29 January in the Desert View Theater at 1 o'clock. That's a continuation of the group that our past treasurer, Campbell Cheney, put together, the replacement reserve analysis group, made a presentation to the board on December 13th, and the board is deliberating over that. We're executing 6 focus groups next week. You'll be proud to know that the board will not be a part of the focus groups. That's being done by 3 fellow residents that have stepped forward to lead those engagements with the community for us. In the town hall is about answering the questions that come out of that focus group, that series of focus groups. And so not only are we going to tell you what we think the right direction for this community is, we're at an inflection point. We've reached the fork in the road, and we're going to take one. And the forks have very different outcomes for the community. So those focus groups are very important to us. But this town hall meeting on the 29th is the first of 3. We will do 3 town hall meetings to ensure every resident has the opportunity to, 1, get educated about what the problem set consists of, and to get your questions answered about all the things that are in your head about why are we doing this, or why are we doing that, or why aren't we doing something that you may believe we should be doing. So 29 January. And then a normal board meeting is on the 31st. The one thing that's missing here that we missed is on 23 January, and I forget if that's a Monday or Tuesday, but on 23 January, we're doing our inaugural, how did I do? Our inaugural Governance Synchronization Conference, and that is pages 7 through 21 of the board manual. And that'll be the board providing its guidance to Walter and his staff, the Troon staff, and our advisory committees. So that's what we have planned just for the rest of January to do the business of this community.
Just as a comment, Matt, for those that have signed up for focus groups, Matt really isn't literal in his execution terms, so we're not executing anyone. It really is a process that he's talking about, I believe. So that's a bit of a military. But I did want to add to this, beyond the focus group conversations that will take place, there have been many comments sent to the Rules and Regs group through an email about the reserve fund and that December 13 meeting. So that has already taken, so the focus groups will be in combination with what has already taken place in terms of comments from residents as well. So it's not just focus groups will be the only thing that drives the town hall. It's a combination of comments coming in from residents through the emails provided from the December 13th meeting, as well as the focus groups. I just want to make sure you got the fact that it's not just the focus groups driving that. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. And nobody gets shot, which is the big deal. Oh, did you run away?
You know, I can't help it. I'm a soldier. That's who I was for 36 years. And so I talk in those terms. I have good friends like Campbell and Dan and Mark to laugh at me. What did these poor people do? They're coming to focus groups that you're going to execute them. Because I write about executing a focus group. And so this was a piece of the strategic planning process. After you completed the survey, we got a report that told us a lot of things. But then we got 668 pages of you telling us a lot of things. I wish I could say that we could come up with new ideas about everything that's wrong or right, but 668 pages pretty much covered it. So I just wanted I just wanted you to know that I know. I've gone through this document, the board's gone through this document. We've got all the conversation coming in from the 13 December meeting, and we're doing the 6 focus groups. This is the most informed board in the history of Saddlebrook boards, okay? We've got as much resident feedback as ever been collected to deal with taking our little corporation forward. So I want you to know that we've taken all this journey very seriously, and all these pieces get put together, and they're informing and influencing all of the thinking that we're bringing forward to you. Okay, with that, I'm going to, do I need a motion to adjourn the meeting? I need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
I need a second.
Second.
Okay. Any conversation about that? Okay. All in favor? Aye. And that now opens up for any homeowner comments. Ann, I'll bring my mic out. You keep laughing at me. I'm watching.
I'm Ann Greville. I live in Unit 42, and I completed a project in December and January for the food and beverage units. And like you, I got very nasty comments. So I wanted to thank you and all of the committee members here in this room for all the work that you did in 2023. I understand how hard it is to do what you do, and I wanted to thank you for your time, your service, and your calm voice, and leading us into the next year. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ann.
Thanks, Dan.
Well, this is resident comment time. Anything you'd like to say? Yes, Skip.
Hi, Skip Anthony from Unit 50, The Villas. The question I have is, are there other alternatives for the focus groups to look at or come up with for the reserve fund, other than the options that you guys have already presented?
Skip, I'm trying to understand what you're asking of me.
Okay, you sent out a $4,600 increase in dues, option 1. Option 2 was a $300 per year. Those are the options that I'm talking about.
Okay.
Are there other ones that will be looked at the focus group, or are they going to select one of those?
No, Skip. The focus has a focus. Here, Matt. Okay, we'll try this one. You hear me, Joey? All right. Skip, the focus groups were designed to solicit resident feedback from the 13 December presentation. So the only options that will be presented in the focus groups for discussion are the options that were presented on 13 December from the RA group to the board.
So if we come up with a different alternative, that's not going to be looked at?
That's the purpose of the focus group. If you want something different, if you want the board to answer a different question, then Maureen, would you stand up? Let me introduce you to Maureen Spence. Maureen is going to be the lead facilitator for the focus groups. So everybody that's got a branch sequel, a different idea, a different thought, that lady's going to pull it out of your head during the focus group meetings. That's the purpose. And so if we haven't given, if the RRA group didn't address something that you want addressed, Maureen's going to pull that out of the focus group participants, capture it, and provide that back to the board.
Thank you.
Wait a second. Wait for the microphone because the good folks at home want to hear you.
There'll be 7 questions. Some of them have A, B, some of them have A, B, C, D. We'll be analyzing things, and I put it all on one spreadsheet of the options that the December 13th report shows. We'll be analyzing that. We'll be going into it, seeing what questions, what do you think are the best outcomes of this, what are the worst outcomes of it. Then the very last question will be, what are other questions you want me to take back to the board that you want answered in the town hall meetings? So it's more of an analysis of it, let them look at them, see what's good. They may come up with, you know, the baseline option 1, 2, and 3, none of them are any good as far as what they come up with. They may have all cons. They may have, oh, these are wonderful. We don't know yet.
You're going to be in all of me.
I will be doing all 6 of them. I'll be doing all 6 of them. Ray will be with me. Charlie will be documenting, and we will not be paraphrasing. We are taking your words verbatim and taking them back to the board.
Also, just to clarify, if you were in the December 13th and you saw the presentation, the group in the committee that made the recommendations looked at 10 possible solutions, okay? And they discounted 8 of them for various reasons. And so if you rewatch that December 13th, they didn't get into details of all 10, but there were numerous options that were investigated. Nothing was off the table when they first looked at it, and as they went in farther and farther into the investigation, they discovered that some of them just weren't realistic, weren't doable, whatever. And so that's how it got kind of settled down to these final 2, because those were the ones that were decided. So actually there are many, many different things that were looked at originally way outside the final 2 that were finally presented. So.
Any other questions or comments from, yes, sir? She's coming.
I'm Bob Andronowitz. Recently just moved into unit number 25. Actually, we are still waiting for our stuff to show up, which should hopefully be here this week. It's impressive to see the initial information that you presented up here in the direction you're going. But from afar, I've been monitoring things, and it appears the consensus that has been presented by the community is all this work goes into the feedback to the board, and the board doesn't take the feedback seriously. And kind of has its own agenda of what it's going to do. Is this something that is factual, or under the new guidelines that you're coming up with here, it's actually going to be adhered to what you're getting back, feedback from the actual residents here?
Great question, Bob. We're all guilty of everything you just said. Whatever it is the residents think we're guilty of in their minds. The reality is we're a homeowner just like you. We have an investment in this community just like you. We own a home just like you. We got membership into this association the same way you did, by buying a home. These 7 people have obligations under law and how we run this corporation like a business, govern it. We have to run it like a business. Yeah, we have our fiduciary responsibilities, but the bottom line is we got a lawyer that tells us all the things that we're supposed to do. Bottom line is we don't bring our individual stuff up here to drive this community. We try to do the best things for the community. Now you're listening to social media. If you ever want the truth, you come see me. I have a duty to be candor with you, to tell you exactly what's going on, and I will do that for you and every other resident here. If you want the truth, come to the board. We'll provide it for you.
That's fine. So why does the social media, which happens to be the chatterbox of everything going on, why is that such a prevalent feeling? Has something happened? I know you're a relatively new board. Has something happened in the past that instilled this feeling into the community?
Don't ask me to explain those people on social media. I can't do it.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
You want to say something, Larry?
Yeah. This one's not working?
It's working.
Okay, I'm on. You have to remember that the board was actually run by Robeson until there was the transition. And a lot of what you're saying, because I've been here for almost 15 years now, was because of how things were run. The board really didn't have, the residents didn't have a big voice. It was controlled by the Robeson Group. So when transition happened, you put in a new board of residents that had to do some learning, and learning takes some time when you have as many entities that are being run here. And I think this board now has learned that in order to run these entities properly, it's going to take a lot of information from the residents on what they didn't like in the past and how do we go forward.
Yeah, I'm going to make one final comment. This board, I'm sorry, Sean, I'll get to you. This board stands on the shoulders of every board from 2018 forward. The 2018 board probably had the hardest challenge of all, is it had to take ownership of this entire community without a playbook. And each board had to come in behind them, and we make incremental progress. I'm going to talk about more of that this afternoon. We're not where we want to be. We've created a mission statement and a vision statement. We're going to show you where we want to be. We're not there. Have boards made mistakes in the past? Yes. Okay, we'll stand up to those. We've made mistakes. It's not because people were trying to make them. They did happen. Not living in the past, but we're learning from the past, because what I've asked of my fellow mates here is that we be part of a learning organization. All we can ask ourselves is to learn from the lessons of the past to deliver better results for the community. And that's why we're doing all the things that we're doing. I'm not an apologist. I'm not going to apologize for everything that happened before Matt. What I am going to tell you is everybody who sat up here in these seats has tried their best. Now, what I've learned by watching, I've only been here 9 years, but what I've learned by watching is that we are all better working together than we are destroying ourselves and pulling ourselves apart. I want to create a new vision here in our community. I want us to love this place. I want us to invest in this place. I want us to promote this place. We own it. Why would we do it any other way?
Okay, the other thing, Bob, to piggyback on what Larry said, when Robeson ran it, they had 5 board members. So when they went to 2018, they said, we're going to have 5 board members. And from 2018 to 2021, they had 5 board members. And they finally said, whoa, 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 this is way too much work. So that's why we now have 7. I'm going to ask this communications person, and I'm not trying to embarrass anybody, but I just need some information. How many people here, and you're just going to raise your hand, get their emails from HOA2? Receive emails from HOA2? Okay. That's our main mode of communication right now. We know, and I know this is a fact from being part of Senior Village, that we have over, I think the number is over 300 residents who are over 90 years old who may or may not use email, and I'm not saying you can't if you're 90. We've got a lot of people who don't use email. They don't care about using email. They care very much about Saddlebrook. So we need to reach those people too. But if you're not getting the Monday message that comes out every Monday without fail, you need to get to the admin office and say, I'm not getting them, because they come to everybody. We had someone come, why aren't you telling us this? Why didn't we know about the December 13th meeting? Why didn't we know this? Why don't we know that? Well, come to find out, they're not opening their Monday messages or their email blasts. There's only so much this board and Walter and his team can do. And I think we get a lot of emails and we get a lot of blasts. People have got to read them. But Sean, there's too much stuff on the Monday message. That's because this community is full of stuff. And if you want to know about it, you got to read the Monday message. But I'm going to work on it. And if you have any ideas for communication, different ways, please come and tell me. Annie? Talk to me. Thank you.
All right, Chuck?
Yeah, I've heard from a number of people over the past 3 months on ideas for communication. One I thought was a good idea was anytime somebody asks a question of the board, whether it be in writing or be at one of these meetings, that we segregate a section of the website so everybody hears the questions and the answers, and so that it's not just the person answering or asking the question that gets the answer, the whole community will get the answer. So that way you can have it on a separate tag on the website, so anybody who wants to hear all the questions and answers that were asked of the board, it'll be there for them. And everybody hears the same answer.
Well, if they come to, yeah, you're absolutely right.
Okay, we're not a workshop here now. Yes, Pat? Mike?
As homeowners, we are required, if we want to have an opinion and a suggestion, to attend meetings where you actually get the information. Board meetings, if you look at who shows up at board meetings, in general, it's staff, committee chairs, and committee members. And not very many people do that. And yes, you do have the option. Now, they're recorded, and you can watch them. But unless you actually go to meetings or find a way, because the Finance Committee doesn't get recorded unless it's a special budget meeting. And that's true of all the other committees. It's really, really important to get out there and get the right answers. Because if you're emoting on social media, you're really not. It's your opinion, and you are totally entitled to have that opinion, whatever it is. But as you saw, a lot of negative things. That's how it happens. They're there to complain, not to compliment. So please attend the meetings.
All right, seeing no one else jumping up to grab that mic, I'm going to bring this meeting to a close. Thank you very much for your participation.
1 o'clock.
I'll sit right here. Come and tell me. I'll sit right here.